now they have a tendency to record you separately. I'm on shows where I've never met anybody. I'm on the Dragons of Berk, the How to Train Your Dragons. I've never met any of those people. I'm on the new Guillermo del Toro show, Troll Hunters. Never met any of those actors. All the shows I'm on now, I record by myself. But in Batman days, everybody was there and you read it from page 1 to the very end, just like a radio play. And that's how I imagined it, you know? I mean, it was theater of the mind. I mean, you could just create and not be intimidated by people looking at you. So I made choices as the Joker that I never would have made if I were on camera, because I can't be seen. And you can, you know, a character actor, the definition of a character actor is an actor who you lose sight of the actor and see only the character. Well, in animation, they do that for you. You can't be seen, so you're much further along than you would have guessed. But I always felt like if you knew a little bit more about me, you'd understand like how I am these days. I mean, my family is strictly middle class. My father was in the Navy. He went into the war as a sailor. He came out, and the government paid for his college after his service. There were 7 of us born between 1945 and 1965. I did the math, and I thought, oh my God, my mom was like pregnant for more than 5 years. And she said it got easier and easier. Some people it's more difficult, you know. She says, by the end I was popping them out like a Pez dispenser. But there was Bill, Terry, Jan, me, Jeannie, Kim, and Patrick. There's a long gap between Kim and Patrick. Patrick was the let's try and save this marriage child, which sadly failed. So I went to 9 schools in 12 years. 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th and 6th. See, that's the first 2-year in a row school I went to. Then 7th grade, a separate school. Then 8th grade, a separate school. Then 9th and 10th grade, a separate school. And then my junior and senior year was in Japan. And by the time I got to go to Japan, my elder brother and 2 older sisters had gone off to college or what, you know, they weren't continuing on. So then I was like the oldest one in the family. And off I went to Japan. Talk about Star Wars, all right. It's bugging me about that. No, I was going to tell you, I honestly did that line, but I was going to talk to you and I got some power converters. As whiny as I possibly could. I wanted to sound like an irritating teenager. Look, he said I didn't go to the mall. Because I thought if you don't establish him as this whiny little guy, how does he make the transition to be, an expert pilot and a potential Jedi? You know, I wanted to make that, obvious. So it sounded pretty creepy to me too. But I did it for the part. Now I did try and talk George out of the line, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Because George is only this tall. He's talking. I said, I didn't know, listen, I didn't think this would be, everyone said, did you ever think this was going to be such a big hit? I thought it would be popular because it was funny. You know, I'm a fantasy fan and science fiction. I mean, Ray Harryhausen, King Kong, the 33 King Kong's one of my favorite movies of all time. So I love all this stuff. I'm a famous Monsters of Film magazine guy. But I thought the one thing that this has that I've never seen in any other science fiction film is it's funny. Robots arguing over whose fault it is. I mean, they had more depth in their personality than the archetypal characters. The farm boy, the princess, the pirate, the wizard, and so forth. I thought that was a great irony that they gave the droids such neurotic tendencies. It was funny to me. We risk our lives to save the princess, nearly get ourselves killed, get her out of the cell. She looks at the ship we came in and says, "You came in that?" How relatable is that? My sisters would make my father drop them off 2 blocks before they got to school so that no one would see what a crummy car we had. So, you know, what I'm saying to you is that I always love this stuff. I love puppets, I love magic, I love Laurel and Hardy and the Little Rascals and Abbott and Costello and the Three Stooges. My parents were really nervous, you know, because they thought I watched way too much television. And I didn't know anybody in show business. My parents didn't know anybody in show business. We didn't know anybody who knew anybody in show business. There was a big deal when the guy next door, who was a baggage handler in San Diego, Jerry Lewis dropped his wallet on the tarmac, and he returned his wallet. He was like a celebrity. Oh my God, you returned Jerry Lewis's wallet. I mean, it's just so bizarre to think that somewhere out there, Jerry Lewis existed. It just blew my mind. And for the next 5 years, all the guy did was complain about, yeah, they only gave me $10. So I said, remember to tip well. They'll talk about it for the rest of my career. But I loved all this, and secretly, that's what I knew I was going to do. Now, I didn't know if I was going to be an actor. I thought I could be a cartoonist. I idolized Charles Schulz. I tried to draw Peanuts. I just loved all this stuff. Sort of, you know, searching for something I could do. And like I say, Disney pulled back the curtain, showed you the construction crew building the sets. They showed you the wardrobe people, the hair people. It was fantastic. I mean, it made it tangible, but still it was somewhere far off. The first real turning point was when I was in Virginia and I saw a touring company of The Subject Was Roses with Martin Sheen, Jack Albertson, and I think it was Irene Dunn. It doesn't matter, but it was a play with real live people on the stage. And again, that light bulb goes off. Now, okay, that's a job. I worked out when we were living in Annandale, Virginia. Oh, okay. I'll try and mention more geographic locations, bro. I'll sprinkle them through. You heard about me gaining 68,000 followers on Twitter by accident? You know how that happened? Some guy just tweeted me, "Do you like wolves?" I said, "I liked it, you know, I love animals." And then it got in the British press, "Mark Hamilton, a Wolverhampton fan." What? And so I sort of like ignored it, you know, but then look, there are sci-fi fanatics. Sports people are like, "Hello, cuckoo." And they're mad now. They're all like, all right. And then, you know, Liverpool tweets, "He